Hello, HDAT. I'm Brianna Grijalva.
And I'm Karen Gonzalez.
And I'm Andrew Lynn, and welcome back to
What's
The
Buzz.
Today we will be looking at some highlights from January and February.
But that's not all. We're also going to be playing with fire.
Fire?
Yes, fire.
Whoa, don't go spoiling the show too much. We need the views.
While those two are fighting, let's move on to our first segment.
On February 11th, SGO held a resolutions party. The HTAC community gathered together just to have some fun during a stressful time in our lives. This dreamy multi-room Zoom event allows students to play Among Us, create inspirational arts and crafts, and set intentions with the new semester.
With COVID and all the online school that we guys have been doing, I'm sure students needed a break. I know I did.
As we all know, February is also Black History Month, where we celebrate Black accomplishments and reflect on their struggle for racial justice.
Yes, and HTAD did its part by organizing the Black Lives Matter Week of Action. This community came together to create student-led workshops that brought light to different racial injustices and ways we can solve these problems.
The reason why I wanted to get involved was because we attended a meeting outside of school where there was this organization who was kind of like taking charge and like getting ideas for what BLM Week of Action will look like across New York City. And I just started this document, and Zahara Murray added their ideas, and we just kind of launched our initiative from there because we noticed that students were interested and that we had people who wanted to help us.
When we all work together, it becomes something greater, because if we were to do this individually, it wouldn't turn out as good as what we did together.
My favorite part was looking at people's work because I was in charge of the art stuff, and it was all related to Black Lives Matter, but each person did a different thing, and I liked seeing it all come together.
One advice I have for students interested in taking similar roles is to work with the team. I definitely really enjoyed my time working with Zahara and Maria, who are both amazing students, and definitely with the help of Miss Sebastian, who I just want to quickly shout out because she has been really punctual with responding to our messages and concerns on Remind, and we would message her late at night and she would respond to. So it was definitely cool working with people you trust and people you could get along with outside of just responsibilities.
One of the biggest motivations for me was in thinking about social justice and ways in which I wanted to see change in this world. And so for me, that was a huge motivator in going into teaching in the first place. And so when I saw that this initiative was starting in schools across the nation and that there was a movement of teachers really organizing and putting together curriculum and ideas and calendars and plans, I just felt like it was something for me to join. It was a continuation of the work that I had already started and wanted to continue doing. And it really gave me a place and a community to do so in, which was really beautiful. And it's always like a thing that feels really good when you're working with others. And so, yeah, I would say, in continuing to do this work, it was a great place to find support and resources and also bring our community at HDAT together. I really hope that when we do go back in person to school, that this work continues and that students continue to feel empowered. I know that this was a conversation that I had with our student leaders a lot, because many of them recognize that this virtual world of online learning kind of allowed for things to be a bit easier, because you didn't have to physically be in front of a big group of people. It kind of made it less nerve-wracking and less scary to put on a workshop or to put your artwork out there and that kind of stuff. So my hope is that it still continues, that we can still have just as much participation and empowered students feeling brave enough to lead these initiatives, because this year was like next level with BLM Week of Action. I couldn't be more proud of.
HDAT is very proud of all the hard work that was put into this initiative. We want to extend a special thank you to our HDAT students, Maria Estevez Perez, Zahara Perez, and SGO Equity Coordinator Ziwi Chen, for their roles in working with teachers and staff to coordinate this week of action.
Thanks for staying engaged and sharing your voices to inform our community. Well, I hope you're hungry, HDAD, because Chef Shapiro is playing with fire. Today, our very own freshman grade advisor and global history and photography teacher, Mr. Shapiro, will be showcasing his vegan cooking. Today, he will be making us a veggie burger with roasted potatoes.
Hey everyone, we're here at the Green Market because as any good meal starts off, you need good ingredients, and the Green Market here, it uses ingredients or fresh produce from farms local in New York. I'm going to take you around, we're going to get a few ingredients and turn it into something yummy. It's always good to support your local farmers, especially at times like this. Hi, welcome. This is Cooking with Chef Shapiro, and today we're going to be making a burger with a side of roasted potatoes, vegan style. Why don't you come on over so we can look at some of these ingredients. Right here we have Beyond Burger, no soy, no gluten, and 20 grams of protein per serving. And I think one serving is one burger, so that's 40 grams. That's a good meal right there. We have the rosemary plant. Picked this up at the Green Market. We have some spices, garlic, onions that we also picked up at the Green Market, some tomatoes. That's from Whole Foods. We have some potatoes here from the Green Market, grown locally in New York State. We have avocados from Mexico. And then we have some pickles, that's also local, New York State. And some extra virgin olive oil, it's from Italy. Some burger buns, lettuce, romaine, and that's it. So, the first thing to do in any good meal is we preheat our oven, and we're gonna start prepping some of this stuff. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so first step is rinsing these potatoes, because the potatoes are going to take the longest to cook. Burgers are pretty quick. So we're going to rinse some potatoes off. Right, potatoes grow on the ground, so you have to make sure you rinse all this dirt off of them. So why don't we hop on over here and rinse off some potatoes. Use some water, right? Make sure you get that dirt. Potatoes are actually pretty interesting. You know, they're from Europe, but during the medieval times, most people didn't eat potatoes. They thought that since they grew in the ground and they're kind of ugly, that they're only fit for animal consumption. So for a long period of time, people didn't even eat potatoes. It was usually just animals. Now, I don't think we can go without them.
So, when did you become vegan?
That's a good question. I became vegan, I think it's been almost 10 years now. I started becoming vegan mainly because I just read a lot of books on the way in which the things that we eat affect our bodies. I know a lot of people in the audience probably like meat, and I have nothing against eating meat. I don't think that, I'm not for the animal cruelty. It had nothing to do with that. It really had to do with what I was putting into my body and the way that the nutrients would be absorbed into my body. So even then, I recognized that, there's some substitutes that are needed because vitamin B12, for instance, isn't found in naturally as occurring as it is in red meat. So some things you really do need to to think about if you're going to become vegan. Now that we have our potatoes washed, I'm just going to run you through what we're going to do with each of these ingredients real quick, and then we'll come back once everything's prepped. For the potatoes, we're going to chop some garlic up. We're going to add some paprika, some salt, a little bit of pepper, and of course our rosemary, fresh rosemary here. And then for the burger, we're going to wash our lettuce and take this little piece off here. We're going to slice some tomatoes, some fresh tomato, a couple slices of avocado. And a really quick trick for the avocado to know if it's ripe or not is if you take this stem here and you open it up, you see how that's green? The color inside of here is a good tip. Obviously, if it's also soft, it should be soft. But if it's brown in there, it's getting towards the end of its lifespan, so we should probably eat it right away. This is a pretty good color, pretty good texture. I'm sure it's going to taste delicious. We're going to slice some of these pickles, and then we're going to add some olive oil to the potatoes to roast them. We'll probably toast our buns as well because that's always great. Alright, and we're back, and we're prepped. So, as you can see, all of our burger materials are here. We have our onions, our lettuce, tomato, pickles, avocado. Look how nice and green that avocado. Look at all these colors here. Actually, there's like 3, but it's okay. They look great. So we're going to put that over here for now. We have to be quick. I don't want my avocado to start browning because it's the oxygen is breaking it down. So let's get started with these potatoes, alright? Potatoes can take the longest to cook. So let's get work. I felt a little bad taking a lot of the rosemary off the plant. Not because I'm vegan, just because it looks so nice. I didn't want to take a lot off, so usually I would use more, but it's okay for now. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you coat all these potatoes in this wonderful olive oil. Alright, so these look nice and coated. Let's start getting some of that nice spice in there. So we have our garlic and our rosemary. Let's just throw that in there. You know, get all that nice, good freshness in there. Alright. Every little speck. I love garlic. Some of us love it, some of us hate it. Just depends. A little bit of salt. You know, nothing too crazy. I don't like a lot of salt in my things. I know people are probably say salt's flavor, but you know what? I just don't like things too salty. You gotta watch your salt intake. Paprika though, I do like that. And paprika's like from a pepper, so that's always good. And speaking of pepper, peppercorn. So let's talk about peppercorn for a second. So this comes from Asia, right? And in history, right, in England or, you know, in Europe, the food was very bland. And once they found out about peppercorn, that was a game changer. They started trading on the Silk Road for this stuff because it made their food taste so much better, and it's gonna make our food taste a lot better too. So let's throw some of that fresh cracked pepper in there. And rosemary is typically found in like Mediterranean food. I remember I was in the Middle East and it was just growing freely. I like pepper, but now it's time to get our hands dirty. You have to get your hands dirty for baby cooking. We gotta mix all this stuff in there. Get all that flavors in every bite. That's what you really want to do. And our oven's preheated. You don't have to worry about that. But you know, you gotta get a little dirty when you're cooking. So once that's everything's nice and coated, right? We're gonna put this on a pan. Now when you put the potatoes on a pan, you know, you don't want to put them too close to each other because then they won't really roast. Make sure they're spaced out a little bit. And if you need to use another pan, I mean, I don't have bigger pans. We'll use what we have. Get all that flavor in there. I don't like wasting anything. I just spent all that time chopping it, right? Trying to waste it. And we're going to just throw it in the oven. My hands are dirty, so I have to wipe them off real quick. Let's throw this in the oven because it's going to take some time to cook. You know, you want them to be nice and crispy. Throw this in here. Now that that's in the oven, a really important tip for when you're cooking is you want to do the dishes as you go along so that you don't have a sink full of dishes at the end of your meal that you have to worry about. So we threw those in the oven. It's going to take some time. We can't cook the burgers right away. They'll be done before the potatoes. So why don't we rinse this off real quick and we'll come back when we got burgers on the stove. Alright, now we have potatoes in the oven. They're almost done. Let's get working on this burger. So, very simple seasoning, just a little bit of salt. You know, I said I don't like too much salt. And some pepper. So, put it on both sides. Get the second side. And what you want to do is, if you put a little extra, you know, get the sides too. You want to get the sides. And this burger is made with a piece of coconut. So that oil is going to come out with the coconut. That's one of the things that they put in there for the fat. So let's just put this on a hot pan. We're gonna get these cooking. 2 minutes on each side. Alright, we'll come see you when these burgers are dressed and ready to go. All right, now our meal is made and we have a visitor since our food is done, of course. Somebody smelled it. So why don't we appease our guest at the Restaurant de Shapiro. Here we go. Here you go. Take that. Bye. Now our burger's done. Let's look at our burger real quick. We have the pickles, the onions, the potatoes. Let's get a nice shot, nice pan of that. Then we got our potatoes over here, nicely roasted. And yeah, that's it. I guess we should take a bite. And of course, I put two bottom buns together, so that was a mistake on my part. But I did toast both buns. All right. And bon appetit.
Wow, who would have thought not eating meat would be so easy? Thank you for sharing that delicious recipe with us, Mr. Shapiro. It looks great.
Yeah, it does. Just like the Vans sneaker designs that the art club submitted to the Vans competition this year. Last year, Art Club won second place for designing Vans custom sneakers, and this year we plan on getting first. HDAT got selected out of 250 schools in the US to transform 5 pairs of white sneakers that reflect the themes of hometown pride and our identity and goals. Check out some club members' first drafts and more about the competition with our club advisor, Ms. Giardinella.
This year, HDAT was one of the 250 schools in the USA to get accepted into the Vans Custom Culture Art Competition. This competition challenges art programs and high schools to design a one-of-a-kind artwork created with white Vans sneakers. Custom Culture was created to inspire and empower high school students to embrace creativity, to inspire, and to bring attention to the diminishing art education budgets. This competition has been going on since 2010, and the winning school can win from $15,000 to $50,000 for their school art program. This year's themes challenge students to showcase their hometown pride and interpret Head in the Cloud. Last year, HDAT won second place for the digital submission and received a $10,000 reward to help buy art supplies for students in need. Our students collaborated and combined ideas to create these one-of-a-kind sneakers, and this year, we plan to win first place. The art club and studio art students have been working hard this year on the first drafts as we explore our own values, interests, and identity.
I created this shoe design with my art program that's called Clip Studio, and I basically took the template and just drew over it, and I filled it in with all the colors that I needed. The first thing that came to mind was a girl with smoke coming out of her mouth, but the smoke turned into clouds, and eventually it started to become a part of the design, not in the way that it originally was, but in a different form. Girl who is basically made out of clouds, and she is spitting out a rainbow. And whenever I thought about the theme, all I can think about is the sky and like partially stars. So I'm like, how am I going to incorporate that? And one creative way I found is to do a rainbow. So instead of just like ordinary girl spitting out clouds, how about a girl of clouds spitting out rainbows that turn into a galaxy? Ever since I was like young and I started doing like digital art, I'd say like a year or two ago, but I never started to really take it seriously until the late parts of 2020 when my art actually started to become better and I started to actually become proud.
Stay tuned to see our final designs and be sure to check your email to vote for our school's custom Vans.
Wow, these designs are fierce. We can't wait to see the finished sneaker designs. Now is the time for our club spotlight with our very own Jenny Chang. Jenny has the opportunity to check in with the crochet club, led by Miss Torres, the chemistry teacher, and club advisor, to learn more about what they have been up to this semester. Let's see what our awesome club advisor, Miss Torres, has been doing.
Crochet is a way to weave or make what some people say is their knots, weave yarn into different shapes, from things that we use to wear, from toys that we can kind of gift to people. Easily confused with knitting, but it is not the same thing. The main way that you're going to tell knitting from crochet is because crochet is done with just a single hook, and we call these hooks, and the knitting is actually done with two sticks, and it just works differently. You still will use yarn, you'll still produce hats and scarves and all that good stuff, but crochet is just with one hook, and that's what we're doing here. Yeah, okay, so what have we done so far? Our bag made of yarn. So we discovered somewhere down the line that you could use something else other than yarn. So typically yarn, you're gonna be made with cotton and some polyester and so on, or wool, right? But guess what? You can make some plarn, which is plastic yarn, and you can do so from different bags. Like right now, I have some plastic bags from little wrap things that came in the mail. So I keep these bags. I keep other bags like shopping bags or any supermarket bags. I even keep bread bags, but I don't have any because I've cut them all up. Guess what I've been doing? I've been doing this bag. It's this big right now. It takes absolutely forever to get done. Yeah, but right here we have bags of bread and even bags of toilet paper wrap. I see Poland Spring wrapping. That doesn't go to waste. I don't put it in the garbage. I just cut it and make it into strips that look like this, right? I just take plastic and basically make strips. And you can find online how to do it. And you can make all sorts of patterns, things that you can make with regular yarn. You can actually make with plarn. It's definitely different, but this is gonna be one sturdy bag made of plastic that otherwise would have not been recycled. So what could be better, right? So I'm going to use it for going to the supermarket. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm still working on it. There are probably like 15 different like bread bags, toilet paper wrappers, a bunch of other things into this at the moment. And I still need like maybe the same amount again. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and look and maybe share my screen in a second when I look for some of the things that have been shared with us in the past. And I will show it in a second. Okay, so this was something that was shared before, and we had this adorable little pair of stars that Queena made, that they're attached, and they have little like blush little things like our bee does. They're adorable. Little like a turtle guy with a little shell on the top that Jenny Lynn. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not just this. Like it's like one of those. What do we call these guys? I know it's from little animation. Can't come up with it right now. We have a bunch of flowers. So very quick and easy projects that can be made. These decorative little things may be used for hair barrettes or other decorations that you can have. A little holiday decor made right here. Very nice. This is a little hat, very tiny hat for a little guy. Very cute. You see it right there. The bear obviously needed a hat, so had to get done. And this is a very, I think a much larger, Queen Yun was working on a scarf. You see it right there, beautiful work with turning and the lines. Very, very pretty. I had seen a few more. All right, so Shanri was working on the round. Look how beautiful that work. Very, very nice. It's gonna be similar to what we're gonna do with the bee today, working on the round. That is the really, really pretty scarf. And another stage a little earlier. And some of us just working with our chains, right? Learning how to do them. Very nice. And with single crochets, I can see onto the chain. And this is a really interesting work of a crochet square for the blankets that we're gonna do some donations. We never did enough of them. We should get back to that project. And changing colors using whatever yarn was used. Thank you, Grace. That looks beautiful. This is a scarf, and I'm gonna show you a hat, and we're gonna wrap it up. So many of us did great job. Did scarves, and then also many of us were really into doing hats, and this is one of them with a ribbed pattern, and some others did like a simpler hat with like double crochet. And so on. There are so many things. I'm sorry if I'm leaving some of the things out. Oh, this was like a little hair band, I believe, from Giselle. Look how beautiful that is. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. We've done like so many different things. We also did a set of ornaments, remember? And that is gonna actually was the preparation for actually getting to do these little guys called amigurumis, which is the name, Japanese name for these little stuffed animals. And you make, I mean, on the internet you can find so many videos that you can follow for instructions on this. I found this one particularly great and easy to follow. There's also a bigger version of it, but I figured we would start with the smaller one because it requires a lot less yarn. It's pretty cute, and if you wanted to make it bigger, then you can do that as a second round. Yeah? Is everybody ready?
Wow, all these crochet projects look so amazing. Look at a bee. It kind of represents our yellow jacket. What a pure talent.
Mrs. Torres, thank you for sharing what Crochet Club has been doing and all the student talent and beautiful projects.
We love all these crochet products. Not only do they relax you, the end products are so darn cute. And of course, we can't forget about our very own field reporter, Jenny Chang, for sharing her awesome yarn photos.
Those designs look so creative and stunning. It's amazing how much creativity we can find during these hard times. And now on to our next segment. I had the opportunity, along with my What's the Buzz colleague, Dennis G, to get an exclusive behind the scenes look of the virtual cabaret. This year's show is led by theater advisor, Miss Plum and Miss Musacchio. The theater club is going to sing and perform the classical Seasons of Love. Now let's keep it short and get straight to it by showing you guys some exclusive behind the scene footage of the performers in their newly adapted habitat. Hi, I'm Brianna Grijalva.
I'm Dennis Grigoriev.
And we are from What's the Buzz? Today, we are going to be showing you a behind the scenes of Seasons of Love. What was your audition experience like, and what did you choose to do?
I am Isabel, and this is my second time auditioning for a theater production. It was a bit different just because it was remote and I had to go to a quiet room, which is like really hard to do. And I was taking care of my cat, so she was a kitten and she kept just like running everywhere and dropping stuff and making a lot of noise. But eventually I was able to like sing the song and get it over with. It was really nice. I'm really happy I did it.
Hi, I'm Mariana, and for my audition experience, I sang, and the song is really great. I love the movie Grease, and I love the song, and I feel like I relate to the song a lot. And the auditioning experience was crazy. I felt a bit nerve-wracking auditioning, and I kept recording and recording and recording until I finally got the right and when I got the right video, I submitted it, but it was everybody's reaction, and it was like, oh my God, am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it? Am I gonna be able to sing it? But other than that, it was a new experience too, because I've never auditioned at home, kind of. So that was new as well. And yeah, overall, now that I know how to do it at home and stuff like that, it would be for a better experience, and I learned from it. So
Talking from experience, because this is my third year in theater workshop, the first two audition experiences when we were in person were a lot different than this year. When we're usually in person, we would have the support of the people around us to give us the confidence that we needed during auditions, because auditions can be scary and they can be very nerve-wracking, like how all of the other people before me have said. But when we swapped over to remote, it was hard because you have to realize that you need to survive on your own, and you have to figure out, when am I going to record for the audition? How am I going to do it? And if it's perfect, because you don't have the support, you don't have the in-person support around you to help. And it could be hard for some people. Like, even for me, it was slightly more, it was more difficult overall, because I was just so nervous and trying to sing my song. And I got in, because we have to realize that everyone does make mistakes, and we all struggle, we all fail, but we climb back up. Our second question for the students is, why did you want to be a part of theater this year?
I decided to be in theater this year because, I've been in theater for 3 years, since my sophomore year. And I don't know, I used to be in tech. I'm still in tech, but this year I still wanted to be in it, even though it wouldn't be the same as it used to, because I don't know, the people in theater and everyone is so supportive. Everyone is just it's like just a fun environment to be around, and I wanted to experience that again, even if I wasn't there in person.
So last year I only really had a little over a semester, because I think it was March we left. So I only had a little over a semester. So I wanted to try again, have a full year, and that's what I got, and I'm happy about it. As hard as it's been, I'm happy that I'm here with all my friends.
Last year was my first year in theater, and starting it out was pretty nerve-wracking. I thought I didn't have what it takes, or I was getting a stage fright, all of that. But as the year went along and I had so many good times, I did my first performance ever in December with Braden, Sig and Benny, that's my man. And then what happened next was Bye Bye Birdie, and I got casted as the title character, and just the exhilaration and excitement I felt when I found out, it was really good. But then obviously, as we know, COVID happened, and we didn't get to perform. But that's okay, because I still have that motivation and that drive to do something that I enjoy and something that I love, and hopefully, perhaps maybe by June, we can all come together in the building and just have one last good thing come out of this bummer of a year. And so that's why I wanted to do theater again this year.
Okay, our first question for the teachers are, what is the cabaret?
So our cabaret is going to be a bunch of different songs from different musicals and different artists. And we also have some people doing monologues. So it's going to be a mix of all different things.
Our second question is, how has the process changed since being remote?
Well, Dennis, you kind of said it earlier, but when we are normally auditioning and doing a show, we are in a community together, supporting each other in person, which is very different. You guys have been really supportive of each other online, and I know how hard that's been. But normally when we're in the auditorium auditioning, the juniors and seniors and the crew like encourage the actors, help them fill out their audition forms. So it feels more like you're doing the audition as a group with that kind of support. And when you guys were auditioning at home, which I'm so impressed by, you had to find quiet time in your houses or not so quiet time and just accept that your baby sister was going to be singing along in the background, and I was really impressed by that.
Our final question is, what are you excited about for the show?
You go first.
So I'm super excited about the process. I'm excited that we have our crew and our cast working a lot more together. Beforehand, when we were in school working on the play and our musicals, we would have the cast and the crew work mostly towards the end of the process together. And before, we would do a lot of work more separately. But now that we're online, we kind of need each other a lot more because we're doing a lot of video editing and whatnot. So I'm loving just this kind of unified experience between the cast and the crew. And I'm excited to see the final product.
I'm excited to see all of the new performers perform. And as much as I'm excited to see the sophomores, juniors, and seniors that I've worked with before, because I know how talented you all are and I've watched you grow, there's just this really exciting moment when you see new people perform and you watch them like grow and like have that confidence to sing and share something and put themselves out there for the first time. And I think that is the thing I'm most excited to see.
Wow, I can't wait for the premiere. It's going to be great to see our HSTAT students going above and beyond, not to mention their amazing talent. Speaking of talents, did you know that we have some pretty talented students in our community putting their talents to good use and even making some money doing it? Sophomore Safia Mohammed started her side business, Artistic Feelings, this past November. Let's take a quick look now.
I started my biz November 24th. I sell hypoallergenic, tarnish-free jewelry. The gold ones are waterproof. I also sell wax melts, lip gloss, and bath salts. The set in packing is $15. You can support by following my Insta, which has a link to my shop, mailing list, Redbubble, and TikTok.
Wow, that looks really great, Sophia. Please help support Sophia's business by following her Etsy, Instagram, and TikTok pages today and make a purchase if you can.
This really has been a great few months at HSTAT.
And with spring break right around the corner, it's the perfect way to send us off into the break. Catch us for our final episode of the year premiering on June 7th. Until then, HSTAT, I'm Brianna Grijalva.
And I'm Karen Gonzalez.
And I'm Andrew Lin. Thank you for joining us today for
What?
The
Buzz.
See you next time, HSTAT, and thanks for keeping up with the buzz.